Big Lots Inc. investors are enjoying life after the discount retailer's third quarter report, and an upbeat outlook suggested results may have bottomed out. That caused the stock to shoot up in subsequent trading after closing at the lowest price since March of 2009. The subsequent gain was the biggest since the record one-day rally of 47.8% on October 29th, 1987. So, is this a big fact or a big fake? Let's take a look. It's the kind of reaction an investor wants following a nearly 2-year stock price decline. The chief executive of Big Lots helped fuel enthusiasm by suggesting the worst was behind the company as the business transformation strategy appeared to be working. The chief executive stated that after a year of transition and restructuring in 2019, we expect 2020 to deliver a significant improvement in comps and return to earnings growth as the fruits of our transformational efforts begin to be realized. The third quarter report for Big Lots indicated that the company had net income of $127 million. In the year earlier period, the company had a loss of $6.6 million. Net sales rose 1.6% to $1.17 billion, which was above the consensus estimate. Although comparable store sales missed expectations, the company affirmed its full-year adjusted EPS guidance. Big Lots shares have gained about 9.5% over the past 3 months, but are still down about 13.8% year to date. The Big Lots CEO concluded the earnings call by saying, in the face of a highly competitive and evolving retail environment, the trade war, and the impact of tariffs, that he is confident that the company's transformation strategies will pay off. I am also confident that 2020 will be a year of significant improved performance for the company as the fruits of these efforts start to be realized. Well, let's take a look at the charts and see what they indicate. Today we're going to look at 2 charts, beginning here with the monthly chart on Big Lots that goes back to prior to 2007. And the symbol for Big Lots is BIG. For disclosure purposes, I do not hold any shares of Big Lots at this time. And looking at the price chart, we can definitely see the top there in late 2017, early 2018, that came all the way down to this point here. So a pretty sizable cut in that price over about a 2-year period. Moving down here into the MAC, we can see that from this point here, the top again, it was a pretty ugly dive all the way down here. Now, is this a big fake or is it a big fact? Well, let's take a look at this point here. There was a bottoming process that the company was attempting, but it didn't work out and it failed. And so the stock fell once again as the MAC came down to this point here, and then tried another attempt at moving through the slow line. But again, it got reflected and it failed and came back down to this level here. So here we are at about -6 level, and the MAC, the fast line, is attempting another move upward. So is that going to be successful or not? But let's go back up here to the price chart and take a look. So here was that first attempt, failure, and then here's that second attempt and failure. And now we have the third attempt here. So we're still pretty far below that 20 EMA, well below that 50 EMA. So I'm going to say that the jury is out on this one, at least by what we see here. But it gets more interesting, so let's go on. Into the MAC, you can see the attempts here, and then now the next attempt. So we are within that -1 level right here. So we do have a little bit of a distance to come to before we get to that 0 line or pass through that. Can it make that distance? Is that distance too great? Is it going to get reflected back? Well, for one, this chart or oscillator indicates to me that I'd stay on the sidelines for now. Let's go here into the price rate of change. Now this is a little bit different. This shows that the fast line is moving through that slow line pretty well. However, we're way down here at negative 25. So it's got a long way before it gets to that zero line. That too, to me, says stay on the sidelines. I think the relative strength index is improving. It's at 46.86. So perhaps this is not all that bad of an oscillator or an indicator. This is perhaps maybe middle of the road, not saying yes and not saying no. Down here into the stochastics, it looks good, but this fast line move through the slow line kind of looks like this move here. Not quite convincing. The volume looks interesting. It's picked up, but that's not going to compel me to do anything one way or the other. And then the Williams. The Williams is still down here, as it was in that first attempt there. Didn't make it over that midline or 50 line. So we're still not above. So in my opinion, the monthly chart says stay on the sidelines, at least for now. But let's go to the weekly chart and take a look at what that shows. We're taking a look at the 3-year weekly chart on Big Lots because it gives us a little bit more context. Going back here to early 2017, we can see a nice basing and then the upward move and then the final peak there in early 2018 with the price drop off. Now, subsequent to that, we've had a number of attempts at a base and a move. So we've had this and 1, 2, 3, and now we're in the 4th move right here. So is it going to be successful? Not quite sure. And each of these moves, the price did move back up through the 20 EMA and then just peaked above that 50 EMA. It doesn't show me anything compelling, at least by the price chart yet, that makes me want to buy this. This could be just another fake out, as it was in these other times, going all the way back here to early 2018. Let's take a look here at the MAC. Now, the red flag in the MAC is the fact that all the way since early 2018, the MAC, both the fast line and the slow line, have been below that zero line. You don't want that. Now, it's good when it's approaching that zero line, but if it gets reflected back each time, then that's when your stock sinks, as we just saw in the price chart. So we haven't moved up close enough or above that zero line. So that's a big red flag. And you can see the histogram. That looks fine. The price rate of change, somewhat the same as the back, where it spent a lot of time below that zero line. Again, that's cautionary for me. Relative strength is at 70.47, so that's decent. But once again, most of this period here it's been below that midline or 50 line. So it's popped its head up above here. We're just going to have to wait and see. Into the stochastics, I like that pattern, but the price isn't doing anything for me. Again, there's a good pattern there in the volume, but is this just going to be another kick up in the price with a subsequent price fall? Well, don't know. But in the Williams looks good too. Nice basing and then a nice move into that overbought territory. But once again, you need to have that consistency in the price as well as in the oscillators. You need to have that relationship working. And right now, Big Lots, for me, doesn't appear to be working. So I would say stay on the sidelines. And for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.